In this chapter of the many more episodes that I really wish to showcase to the rest of the world, I would be taking you across the beautiful country of Namibia. I met some people, some very nice people, who said this is miles and miles of nothingness, but miles and miles. Riding across the world's oldest desert and coming across some stunning landscapes that has literally left me floored. And I'm hoping that as you sit back and enjoy this on a wide screen, you will also walk along the journey that I did. But this is back in 2021/22. I'm headed there again, but before that, this is a prelude of what is awaiting for us one more time. Well, on this odyssey, I gave myself to tick off one of the most beautiful roads that I have always wanted to travel, the Trans-Kalahari Highway. I sensed the connectivity from Maputo in Mozambique, and I connected on to this highway one more time as I headed towards the border of Namibia. The Trans-Kalahari Highway, which is roughly around about 3,000 odd kilometers, stretches from one end of the southern part of the continent to the other, Maputo to Walvis Bay in Namibia. And how could I not ride this all along the road? And I purposefully made an attempt to border cross at Vuitapos.
I'm just out of the border control of Botswana and had a very pleasant exit and an extremely pleasant entry into my country number 5, Namibia,
which is the Trans-Kalahari border checkpost as I entered Namibia. My first stop would be to the High Commission of India and meeting His Excellency Prashant Agarwal, who was the High Commissioner of India to Namibia. Well, there are a few very interesting points around Windhoek. One such is the Heroes' Acre, a war memorial. Onab Dam, which is one of the most beautiful dams in the middle of the desert. Checking off these points, the next was to get my Dominar serviced at Yamaha Windhoek. Well, little did I know that I am getting into a workshop which is owned by a father and son who are dirt champions.
Yeah, in 1987, I was Namibian motorcycle racing champion. Long time ago.
Long time ago. Yeah, we all have memories from long time, and that's a beautiful
And still
trophy
riding.
out there. 1987, SWA motorcycle racing champion. Woo. Nice.
Thank you, man.
2021/22 was the Omicron days. Thanks to our own MP, Shri Tejasvi Surya, who was very instrumental in helping me to connect with the Ministry of External Affairs, who in turn connected me to the Deputy Secretaries of the various sections for which I would be requiring a visa. It was during the time when I was in Namibia when there was a lot of news about getting a booster dose done. The High Commission of India in Namibia connected me to the area where they were giving the booster shots. How interesting this could be. I walk in to get my booster shot done, and the doctor who's assigned to take details, and when I gave my passport, she saw Bangalore. I said, "Oh, I studied in Mysore," and we got into a lovely chat.
Can you please tell me your name?
Paulina.
Paulina?
Yes. From which state are you from?
Karnataka?
Do you know Bangalore?
Lovely. Now that's nice, isn't it? Okay.
So do you know Mysore?
Now that got me bold. She says Mysore, so perfectly fine.
Bangalore, like for almost a year, then I moved to Mysore.
So how did you find my state?
It's okay. Bangalore is very nice. With I love what MG road
MG Road, okay.
and yeah, and the other roads. I forgot about it. The other ones
Oh,
where
yeah.
you find a lot of shops and all that.
Avenue Road?
Yes.
Yes.
That
A
one.
lot of shops, and it has to be Avenue Road in Bangalore.
Yes.
So you did a lot of shopping.
Yes, I
Nice. So isn't that nice, guys?
Yeah, these are the fabulous people who are doing the third dose for me.
I'm all set to be a global citizen with the first 2 doses done in India and the third booster being done here in Namibia. And what a fabulous way to get it done.
Well, there is a little room for fun, and the Indian community and also the Pakistani community there got together and drove me to Swakopmund and got my first taste of how beautiful the dunes are in the Walvis Bay and the Swakopmund area. Fish River Canyon, which is one of the most beautiful canyons I've ever seen after the Grand Canyon of the US. The Fish River Canyon happens to be the second largest canyon in the world. It's absolutely gorgeous, stunning, deep, and there's so much of details that are hidden away in this beautiful canyon. Well, from Fish River Canyon, I would then head towards Lüderitz, a coastal town in Namibia founded back by Adolf Lüderitz, after whom this town has been named. A Diaz cross where Bartholomew Diaz, back in 1488, planted a cross. You could actually feel the wrath of the Atlantic hitting the shores, and that was one beautiful moment that I will always remember. From Lüderitz, I would then head towards Stess, the same road I would come back to enjoy another beautiful area called the Garas Park, where beautiful quiver trees are showing the landscape of the mountains, planted on the mountains. It's something a sight to behold. So I started heading towards Maltahoe. Maltahoe has got a beautiful gas station, and you must meet Mr. Diedrich Jankowitz, 70-year-old young man, full of energy, and manages a cafe and the fuel station. Rains in the preceding days have been unprecedented, something that's never happened in Namibia for the last decade. Well, 40 mm of rains had literally washed away the roads that would take me from Maltahoe to the Sandhoff Lily Farm. It was impossible for me on a motorcycle to ride there. I was almost an hour and a half waiting, hoping that Mr. Diedrich. We were all driving to what was most definitely an impossible road. The Sandhoff Lily Farm is a must-believe, must-see-it to believe magnanimity of nature's gift. And with the water levels were knee-deep, I could only imagine the sheer size of this beautiful gift from nature. We spent few hours there, and we came back with rich memories of this beautiful nature's wonder. Well, one of the most beautiful nature's wonder. Soulful. If you guys, mostly my Indian folks, if you have seen the movie Gajini, this is something that you will relate to. Walking for 7.5 kilometers was something that we never really expected to be easy.
The Big Daddy.
First, to realize that Namibia has had so much of rains and so much of water, even amidst the desert, is something that's completely mind-boggling. And for me to have experienced knee-deep water, walking across the desert, which is filled with water to Soulful, has been one nightmarish experience. But the very sight of the salt pan and the dead camel thorn trees are something that I will remember for the rest of my life. It's worth a visit one more time. Well, after a beautiful evening at the Agama Lodge, I would then leave the next early morning and head towards Walvis Bay. A strategic point of a stop by is Solitaire. The apple pies cannot be missed, and of course, getting your vehicle refueled. That done, I would then stop by at the Tropic of Capricorn, one of the most loneliest signposts in the world. This has been one great experience, but equally traumatic, because the rains had devastated the roads and there were continuous grading going on, and it was a very bumpy ride. As I neared Walvis Bay, I realized that I didn't quite know how many more kilometers to go. I was completely out of water, and the desert sun had caught up with me, literally drained me to the last drop of available water. Reaching Walvis Bay is one of the biggest achievements for me because, well, the C14 has undoubtedly been most traumatic, but also the Trans-Kalahari Highway ends here. The Rosemont Golf Course, Uncle Desmond would host me a breakfast at the Rosemont Golf Course, which apparently is just one of the 5 all-grass golf courses in the desert. Now, isn't that wonderful? Very up-close interaction with the springboks. I mean, not that I haven't been seeing a lot of wildlife on this journey, but the freely roaming springboks as you golf around was a sight to see. Well, also a quick ride or a drive by the Walvis Bay Salt Factory and the flamingos. Amazing, absolutely amazing. This is what Swakopmund and Walvis Bay has been for me. Well, remember the flooded Sandhoff Lily Farm where Mr. Yankovitz and his family drove me there and made sure I get that experience? Well, that's 9 days before. Now here I am with Ankur and his family. Just on an impromptu decision at about 10 in the night, we decided let's head to the Sandhoff Lily Farm because the news is that the Sandhoff Lily Farm is in full bloom. Sandhoff Lily Farms it is, from Windhoek about 400 kilometers, and Ankur gets into his Fortuner and says, let's go. The farm, though they were in the depleting stages, but I could just imagine how beautiful they were at least 2 or 3 days, or possibly the kind of rains that this season had was never before in a decade. And this was a sight that I will always remember. And people Is Mr. Yankovic and his family and his uncle and his family. In a gap of 9 days, they made sure that I had 2 visits to see the extremes of how beautiful this Sandhoff Lily Farm, a 700-hectare farm, can be. Another wonder of nature what Namibia has to offer. I came across a biker, Eric, or Dusty as he's more commonly called, and he offered to ride with me up to Okahanja for breakfast. The first stop obviously was to get fuel. He offered to fuel up my tank, fuel up one of the Desert Fox bladder that I was carrying, and we started riding out. One thing that I had missed and I really wanted to always carry with me is a pair of earplugs to kind of, reduce the wind noise inside the helmet and eventually creeping into my ears. At the refueling station, I did observe Dusty had one on him and there was another one on his tank bag. I thought to myself, maybe I should request Eric sometime down the line. And as we reached the breakfast table, I voiced my need for earplug. And Dusty, of course, said, yes, I have one. I said, I saw that and that's the reason I asked you. But in the midst of goodbyes, I completely forgot to ask him one more time at the bike. And I was riding probably about 100 kilometers since I waved my goodbye to Dusty. And I could see the lights flashing and I could see him riding behind me. And I stopped, and this is something that I've still cherished. I used it through the ride of the Afro-European Odyssey, but I made sure that I held on to this as a beautiful memory of a fellow biker wanting to help another one on the road. The kind of people that you have met who have helped you unconditionally and helped you to have a great experience. Onjuwewe, very close to Kamanja, where I would stay all by myself.
Good morning, dear neighbors!
And just behind this beautiful place is a tribe of Himbas, the nomadic tribe of Namibia, with a dwindling number which are around less than 50,000. And this is an experience I will always, there are so many, but this likely will come into the top 5 of my experiences in my life. What are Himbas? Well, the Himba tribe is a semi-nomadic Herero-speaking group in Namibia, renowned for their unique cultural practices and deep connection to nature. Their significance lies in their ability to maintain traditional ways of life, especially in a harsh, arid environment. Known for their distinctive red ochre body paint, intricate jewelry, and bilateral descent system that allows them to rely on both maternal and paternal clans. The Himbas utilize very unique methods of hygiene and beauty. And for me, this was a compulsory indulging practice that I wanted to get into. And I did not really shy away from getting into that routine. Well, the primary hygiene method involves the smoke baths using smoldering charcoal and herbs, offering a form of cleansing and purification due to the antimicrobial properties of the smoke. Due to water scarcity in the semi-arid region, the Himba have developed this unique method. Also, the ojise paste, a mixture of butterfat and ochre pigment, a staple of Himba culture, particularly among women, which tends to protect the skin from the harsh sun and dry desert air. Now imagine that I would walk in and these kind folks invite me to be a part of their routine, and I would not hesitate. This is an experience that you all should indulge. When we travel, we get in not just for the pictures, but a lifestyle involvement is something that I would really look forward to, and this has been a beautiful experience. A passing memento from the Himalayas is something that I still have, which adorns my wall here, bringing me back some rich memories of my interaction with this beautiful nomadic tribe. Well, very close to the Onjowe guest house is a cheetah farm owned by Mr. Tammy, who until about 28 years back used to hunt predators poaching into his farm. That thing changed when he accidentally caught a pregnant cheetah. Today, he has Quaige and Stoter, two cheetahs which are his pets, and an up-close and first-hand experience of petting those cats has been another mind-boggling experience. This is unbelievable for me. I'm almost edging towards my exit from Namibia, and I'm just not able to hold back. And as I head out of Onjowe Way, I would head towards Shumel, wherein that would be my last stop before exiting the country of Namibia into Angola. But before that, there are two detours that I was encouraged. One is Finger Klippe, a 35-meter tall limestone rock that's been standing there forever. Spiritual and cultural significance for the Nama people, who believe it was a symbol of power that would collapse when the power of the white man ended. And the Hoba meteorite, supposedly 60,000 tons of meteorite that landed on this planet, and the largest of the meteorite in this world. How could I not miss that? The largest known intact meteorite and the largest naturally occurring piece of iron on Earth. Discovered in 1920 on a farm, it weighs approximately 60 tons, composing of roughly 84% iron and 16% nickel. The largest known meteorite that remains in a single intact piece. Finger Clip, or known as Mukurop or Finger of God, a significant for its geological age, unique formation and cultural importance to indigenous communities. This is a very prominent landmark in the Namib Desert and approximately 35 million years old, making it a geological relic. I'm sure we all know that we meet the nicest people on our travel. And for me, this has been nothing short of another experience that continues to add to my memoirs. I met Harshvi Rungta at the Indian High Commission when I first stopped by the High Commission of India in Namibia. And we maintained connected. And as I reached Shume, Mr. Harsh hosted me and offered to drive me to what continues to be one of the largest national parks in Africa, the Etosha National Park. The early next morning, he and his family, wife Amrita and son Yash, and we all drive to Etosha to possibly encounter some of the most beautiful wildlife that this national park has to offer. Well, the seasons were not that conducive for us to meet with the animals or the wildlife that this Etosha National Park is famous for, but it was more of the bonding that we spent through the day, enjoying moments of friendship that I would cherish for the rest of my life. I leave Shumeb the next morning and I'm heading out towards the border of Namibia, getting into Angola. Namibia, a country filled with vastness, miles and miles of nothingness. But each day, each mile ridden on this country has been absolutely beautiful. And for me to choose Namibia as the country to encourage my fellow countrymen to enjoy and explore is something that I would love to. This is a prelude. Now we are going back there one more time. And And that will be another interesting journey that I would want to share with you all. Thanks for watching this chapter. More coming your way. Stay connected.